Guna Yala, located in Panama, is a long stretch of land that rolls down from the top of the mountainside down to the Caribbean Sea. It counts with more than 360 islands, some so small that they can only hold a few palm trees. The larger ones are inhabited by the Guna Indians, or Dule as pronounced in their language. The Guna Nation, once a much more numerous population, has existed for hundreds of years. Their chief, Iwayoquile, tells us of their origins.
Los antropólogos plantean de que nosotros venimos del macro Chibcha, del sur, de los grandes ríos de Colombia, de Amazonia, es el origen del pueblo Guna. Así que nosotros estábamos vinculados a los incas hasta llegar llamarnos Guna Dule.
This First Nation that has inhabited these lands for more than 400 years were known to travelers and adventurers in colonial times as the White Indians, due to the high levels of albinism present in the population. Albinism is an inherited genetic disorder where the person lacks melanin, the substance that gives pigmentation to the skin, hair, and eyes. This condition places them at high risk of sunburns and skin cancer, as well as eye conditions. No cure exists for albinism, but they can take some measures like avoiding exposure to sunlight, and in some cases, eye conditions are treatable. Guna Yala is a tropical paradise, a dream for any traveler. The Guna people say they live eternally enamored of their territory, but the albino community is suffering the consequences of the harsh weather conditions. The limited shade on the island, the lack of access to sunblock, and the intense reflection of the surrounding sea leaves no choice but to keep the alabaster-skinned children indoors in order to protect them. The root of this reality exists since the beginning of time, according to Guna mythology. Martin Panisa, a well-known Guna musician who uses his art to rescue traditional music, explains.
La etnia Guna siempre ha identificado al albino como una persona especial, el Ibegua. O sea, Ibegua es en el término culto del idioma Guna, que significa Ibe, el sol o la luz, y Gua, la raíz, ¿no? La pepa, la raíz de un fruto. Entonces podríamos literalmente decir que Ibegua es la raíz de la luz. Y somos, por lo general, descendientes de Ibeler, que es el sol.
Legend has it that the Guna people were born from an incestuous relationship between brother and sister, Mother Earth and Father Moon. They procreated 8 children, one of them being the albino Ibeler.
Que guía, que es el maestro de sus hermanos, se dice que Ibeler era albino. Y los albinos somos descendientes de él.
The first official mention of albinos in the community dates back to the chronicles of the surgeon and pirate Lionel Waffer in the late 17th century, according to Awibe, a Guna philosopher.
Él fue el primero en acuñar ese término, hijos de la luna, porque ahí dice él que los albinos salen de noche nada más, o sea que por la razón obvia, ¿no? de no poder exponerse al sol, entonces vendría a ser como, la luna vendría a ser como más benévolo, ¿no? O sea que se sienten más cómodos, más amigables con la luna, ¿no?
According to historians, the Guna Nation once reached over 750,000 people. During colonial times, due to infections and war, their numbers dwindled, reducing to 5,000 inhabitants. The albino population, not being able to be out in the sun, were protected during this fierce stage in history, permitting many to survive.
En la primera década de 1900 aparece un norteamericano que se llama Richard Marsh, y él llegó a la comarca de Guna Yala en aquella época buscando información científica, ¿no? Y él llevó a varios albinos gunas a Estados Unidos, al Smithsonian. Eso era en la época en que se estaba gestando la revolución guna, y los albinos sirvieron como una forma de disfrazar el apoyo que los gunas estaban pidiendo a Estados Unidos, ¿no?
The Guna Revolution Awiba speaks of was an armed resistance against the Panamanian government in 1925, after a series of attacks that were meant to civilize the indigenous community. After the arduous battle, the Guna people claimed autonomy of their present-day territory and recoiled, making sure to shut out the Western world in order to ensure the continuance of their culture. In 1999, a French doctor named Pascal Jambrun became fascinated by the case of the Guna albinos. Dr. Jambrun and a team of doctors concluded that approximately 1 out of every 150 people in the community were albino, the highest density of albinism in the world. This endogamous population has isolated itself, not only in its territory, but genetically as well, a primary factor in the propagation of the albino gene in the community. Ina Martinez met Pascal Jambrun when he was only 14. Ina recently finished medical school in Cuba, and today he is the president of SOS Albino, an organization founded by Dr. Jambrun and Khalif Saeta, a well-known African albino musician. We went to several islands to see how the Guna albinos are coping. In the first tightly populated island we visited, Urgandí, the population still conserves their language and traditions. Local Guna women carry on the ancestral tradition of hand-stitching the mola, an essential element in their garb. Each piece depicts daily activities and local fauna. They can take between 2 weeks to a month to finalize. Iladeris Davis, mother of Waga Morris, told us what it was like for her daughter growing up. Although albinism is accepted in the Guna society, there are still social repercussions that affect them. Some say albinos are endowed with special talents. Waga, for example, is a gifted artisan. Ernesto and his mother Mirelis, originally from this community, have migrated to Panama City in order to better care for his condition. They return 2 or 3 times a year to visit family.
Ella tiene crema. Estamos comprando como $15 cada crema. Termino, el papá estaba comprando el lente, 270. Ella quiere, por eso ella tenía es de piel. Entonces tiene suave, por eso estamos comprando cada crema. Y yo le dijo al Ernesto, no sale el sol, porque tenía eso. Porque ahorita es muy grande, yo no puedo cargar. Por eso ella salía.
Yo solo quería nadar en el mar, pero mi mamá no me deja.
Emily Caldo is a talented young woman from Dicantiquí, another island we visited.
Vivir aquí es como, usted lo nota por el sol, se nota como si estuviera al lado de nosotros. Y como todas las casas son chiquititas, sentimos el sol pegaditos así al lado de nosotros.
Access to Western medicine is limited in these island communities, according to what Adelina Tejada told Ina.
Tiene un acceso relativamente básico, pero más sin embargo, con el cuidado que tienen que tener los albinos, no tiene ese acceso. O sea, dermatólogo, oftalmólogo, entre otras especialidades que son necesarias, no lo tienen.
SOS Albino is conformed of volunteers who donate their time in order to provide medical support to the albino population. Dermatologist Dr. Reinaldo Arosemena has been working with the foundation for over a decade.
Cuando ellos se exponen al sol, rápidamente se les daña la piel. Entonces, por eso vemos aumento en la incidencia del envejecimiento, se envejece mucho más rápido, aumento de la incidencia de lesiones premalignas y de lesiones malignas. Estos individuos están desarrollando cáncer, si se ponen al sol, cáncer muy tempranamente. Las condiciones son ideales para que no vivan más de 30 años. Es cuestión de educación. Ellos ahora recién están un poquito más abiertos a aceptar la información de protegerse del sol, de usar ropas que los tapen, de usar sombreros, anteojos oscuros, con la idea de protegerse del sol, con la idea de evitar el desarrollo de lesiones premalignas y malignas.
Healer Camilo Layan, father and grandfather to 2 albinos, explained to Ina how he resorted to his knowledge to protect his offspring.
Wemar be ina kibe ois pepe oga.
Poner goloque.
Ajá.
Saila non mai ani mai si ani mai si. Gasun mai vale.
Inyo ite paigan sipugana.
Adianse tu lei mai disu. Adianse mai disu, ansi mai disu.
Ikinunya na tu le kaya te peina mare ebuka sipugana. Igua.
Tegina isper.
Isper.
Tegina mango ancho mango.
Mango.
Aquí malatesa. Balan subali con de
Narbawar.
Aquí malata bulasi.
Pugana.
Labiro cuando morían el país chida para que esté ese. We me daile pone vergüenza la haga we duka bele. Magi que ese. Jadi ina sarro ko akasu. Que todo beba o buganta. Da tutu su.
Camilo said that unfortunately the new generations are no longer interested in traditional medicine, and that the craft and knowledge that comes with it is dwindling. Present-day climate conditions are putting the children of the moon in higher risk than ever, with few alternatives for protection.